All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This Pastor Dow. A lot of people who are not familiar with the ministry, new to this page, to the information that I share, and the things that I try my best, as much as I know, to give you in order to prepare for what's coming. They have not, done their due diligence to look back into the archives and spend time to find out what we're all about. And so I continue to keep getting, because there's a lot of new subscribers, the same questions over and over again. Where are we at, Pastor Dow? What do you think we should be doing, et cetera, blase, blase. And I want to make a short video right here, but I'm also going to refer you back to the archives. There's a bunch of video archives that I spoke on many different subjects to try to help you. Listen, America has forsaken you. Do you understand that? Your families have forsaken you. And you might ask, but Pastor, how is my family forsaking you? By being ignorant, by being dumb on purpose, by not, listen to this, preparing. Most of us, we were not born in a generation of the Great Depression. But however, we do have enough history books on our hand if you choose to educate yourself to realize what happened. And also to realize what happened to those who had prepared themselves when they could see the proverbial writing on the wall. Listen, you've been to the store lately and you saw goods, commodities, food. You saw the packages shrinking, have you not? And yet the price remains the same. You saw the fluctuation, or you see the fluctuation of gas. Every time you go to the pump, up and down. I went to Canada this year, and unleaded gas down here was like $1.87. The farther I went north, by the time I had got to Michigan, close to Detroit, Michigan, it was $3.38 a gallon. By the time I had ended up in Canada, it was something like $1.91 a liter or something like that. It's just extraordinary gas prices the farther you head up north. That's not to say the illusion is not being felt here in the South, because it is. And they fluctuate up and down. We're watching that once prices go up, that they take their time coming down. And most of the people still have either the same gasoline or the same products on the shelf as the prices continue to keep going up in order to maximize their profits. You have to understand and see what's going on. And I'm going to make this real simple. Listen to me. I hope I can help you. I hope I can, but I can't help you if you're not going to leave the mental assent phase and head off into the doing phase. That's the hardest part about anything in the world, is actually becoming doers. A lot of people would love to be physically fit, love to be in shape. They do. They'll read books and they'll watch videos and stuff. And most people are looking for a magic pill. But the bottom line is they won't do it. They will not do, nor will they, listen to this word, sacrifice in order to benefit. We're bankrupt as a country. We're $20 trillion in debt. And I make no apologies to you whatsoever at all. You've heard me for years on this channel. And most people are saying, Pastor Dow, we ain't going to talk about silver again. I've said everything that you can just about possibly say concerning silver. Go back into my archives and look. Pastor Dow, do you still collect silver? Yes. Do you still buy silver? Yes, I do. Still collect it, still buy it. Silver. It's constitutional money. It's going back to a reset. There's always a global reset somewhere along about every 40 years. We're a little bit over that now. America is 20-something trillion in debt. You need to listen to me. Back during the Great Depression, they didn't have this big, massive printing press to where they could actually stave off the depression and give people the illusion that the economy and everything is doing good and fine. No, they felt it, and boy, did they feel it hard. The only people that did not feel it in the Great Depression, I'm going to say it. Yes, I am. I'm going to say it. I want you to listen to me. Are the people who lived in the country, watch this, who had their own little small homestead, who knew how to grow a garden, produce their own food. They canned their own food. That was their grocery store. They actually had a cellar, and they canned their own food. You see, The system has done an excellent job at making all of us be somewhat dependent upon it. And right now, people are laughing, they're mocking, they're scorning, and they're jeering. Right now, they are. People like us who prepare. We're called preppers, survivalists, or whatever you want to call it. Call it what you may. Call it whatever you may. But we're not going to be the ones hurting when those trucks stop running to those stores. Ask yourself a question. The geographical location where you reside, where you live at right now, what would happen if you can no longer get up in the morning and assume that the grocery store doors are going to be open, that there's going to be product on the shelves? What would happen if that was taken away from you? All right, how would you fare if you lived in an area and the stores shut down? I mean, Walmart is a major player in this end time that we're living in. And I remember a long time ago that I was in the late 90s. I said that Walmart was going to be the distribution center for the new world order. Watch this. Walmart is closing over 160 stores by the end of this year. 160 stores. Jobs are being outsourced, gone overseas and stuff, and that started during the GAFTA, the free trade agreement in the mid-90s under the Clinton administration. Now they're talking about TPP, and even libertarians agree with the TPP. I don't. Listen. Invest in yourself. The first thing you want to do is, no matter where you at, is you want to get food. I mean food. And you want to store food. You can go to the store and buy a can of corn or a can of beans or some lentils, especially lentils. Don't tell me you don't have $1 or $2 to buy lentils. You can do that. You can actually do that and store those things. Because food, you're going to need it. You're going to need to secure a private location or secure a location where you're mutually assistant with people who you can trust. And you can't trust everybody in this world, including your own greedy family, because if you notice that if people having a difficult time and a very hard time with obeying the truth, you're not going to be able to trust them. And that's just the truth, because people are liars, people are deceivers, people are hoodwinkers, people like presenting to you that they're this way, and this way, but on careful evaluation, you find out that people are just not honest, forthright, and truthful. And listen to me on this statement right here. Listen to me very close. Listen, I'm going to say something. People hear what they want to hear when you're speaking to them. And they assume that when they say something, that you agree with what they have said. Even though your words were clear, your intent was clear, it was communicated. When people are sitting in front of you and people are listening to you, when they come to you with something, they are waiting for the opportunity for you to hear, or they're waiting for the opportunity for you to say something that they wanted to hear, and disregard all the information that you have put out in front of them, because that's how stubborn and that's how stout-hearted and that's the will of man. That's the will of man. And then later on, they'll come back and say, but you said, and they take it clearly out of context. What do you do in a situation like that? What I've learned over the years, you let them be joined to their idols or their idol opinion until later on. Just learn how to be patient. And you're going to find out it's going to come back and bite them. I want everybody to please try to listen closely. I'm here to try to help you. That's what I'm trying to do. And straightway is a reflection of, you can see what I believe. I'm not one of these people that are toying around and playing around. I'm trying my best to show you by doing. People can talk. Talk is cheap. You can talk all day long, and you can have an intent all day long, but until you start becoming a doer, you're deceiving yourself. That's what you've done. You need food. You need a secure location, and preferably not by yourself, because you're going to need to be able to defend that location if necessary. from what we call the apocalypse zombie attack. And a zombie is the uninformed people, the people who are still caught up in the matrix, the people who still believe that que sera, whatever would be, everything is all good, and it's all going to pan out and everything's going to work good. No, it ain't either. We have gone from bad to worse, and the conditions are continuing to decline. You need to understand that. And the people who are trying to tell you to prepare, I know that you've already got in your mind crackpot kooks and everything else, but let me ask you this. What about the government and the government-controlled news media that has deceived you to make you believe that everything is fine when everything is really not fine at all? I mean, the cart is going down the hill and the wheels are coming off. You need to understand this, that if there is some type of catastrophe or disaster or terrorist attack that is impending upon the people of the United States of America, government is not going to inform you. And the reason why they're not going to inform you because they don't want mass panic. I'm trying to save you from a lot of pain that's coming. Pastor Dow, you've been saying this pain is coming for a long time. Hey, let me go back to the Bible. Noah was a man of righteousness. We only have a few years that we're sitting here and warning right now. He warned people for 120 years. They did not believe until the day that the first drop of water fell out of the sky. I'm sure they thought somebody was spitting on them. But then when that flood came, all up until that time, Noah was being mocked. He was being scorned. He was being ridiculed. He was being derided. He was being chided. He was being called all kinds of names. And people even got to the point where they were upset at him because of what he was doing, building an ark. It brought about such conviction upon them that they turned obstinate and angry and hostile and vindictive towards him to the point that they even wanted to physically do him bodily harm. But then when the water started rising, next thing you know, the same people that scorned, the same people that arrogantly made mouths at, guess where they were at? Beating on the door. Well, guess what? Noah didn't shut the door, and neither could he open it. And I'm telling you that once the door is shut, in this preparation time, we can't open it. Don't you assume that if you're stuck in these cities that you're going to be able to get out. I went to New York and New Jersey and Philadelphia this year. And of course, the way I think is like I'm looking at my surroundings. I'm looking at this bridge. I'm looking at how many people depend upon this mode and method of transportation. And I'm sitting there thinking, all you have to do is take out this bridge and it's over with. It's going to be a slaughter, a literal slaughter. Listen to me. I advocate food, I advocate shelter, and good clean water. You need to start trying to store water. You really truly do, because water is very scarce today because look at the environment, it's so polluted. But not only that, I advocate that you buy gold and silver. And the reason being is because we never know which way the tide is going to turn. But one thing about it is people are not going to be fooling around with Federal Reserve notes, worthless currency. They're not going to be fooling around with that mess and that garbage and stuff. They're going to be looking for stuff that is tangible. They're going to be looking for silver. You know what I mean? Let me take this out of the pack right here. That's what they're going to be looking for. They're going to be looking for something that has value. You know what I mean? There's something that's been money. This is called kasef in the Hebrew. Looking for something that been money from the beginning of time. Well over 5,000 years, gold and silver. And you can use that for bartering and trading. I'm going to end this on a short history lesson. In Zimbabwe, if you know what a 1/10 ounce of gold piece looks like, in Zimbabwe, we're talking about recent history, when they had hyperinflation hit them, guess what? You could get a loaf of bread after panning, working 8-10 hours a day. If you could get that amount of 1/10 ounce of gold you get one loaf of bread for 1/10 ounce of piece of gold, which in that time, according to US dollars, was $180 for a 1/10 ounce of gold. And then, now, of course, now the news media and none of them is telling you what's happening in Venezuela. And they are not telling you what's happening in Venezuela right now. No, that country's literally gone stark raving mad over there. It's really sad what is going on over in that country. I mean, it's bad. It's really bad. I'll tell you what, do the research, because if I tell you, it'll go in one ear and come out the other. But if you become a doer and you start checking behind the things that I'm saying, you're going to find out that I'm not your enemy. I'm your friend. And your churches, these people who's supposed to be spiritual, they have no plan of deliverance for you. None whatsoever at all. They're going to perish just like you, simply because they didn't, they think that you can just mentally believe something and everything is going to be all right. Well, Abraham had to move from the lands of the Ur of the Chaldeans. Noah had to move by building the ark. Moses had to preach to the people, get scorned, get rejected and stuff, until he showed signs and wonders in order to lead the people out into the wilderness. Of course, their heart wasn't ready, just like many people today, and they suffered. So you need food, clothing, shelter, good clean water, and then you need to invest in gold and silver if you can afford it. And I think the biggest thing is that you need people surrounding you that you can literally trust. You can trust them with your family. You can trust them with yourself, and they can trust you with their family, because trust is a big thing. It's declining sincerity. Let me ask you a question. Let me end this. Can you be trusted? Literally. I mean, think about this for a second. Can people trust you? Will you lie? Will you cheat? Will you deceive? If temptation or the possibility of being tempted in a certain area, will you do that in order to step on and step over somebody else so that you alone can survive? That's a question only you can answer, but many already know.